My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Damn right, it's better than yours. I teach you, but I'd have to charge. Do. All right, we're gonna try something new. I got a really good response to my Warhammer, female Custodes Warhammer video. And for me, it did really well for my based on the numbers I normally get. And I'm going to start doing more videos like that. And I want you guys to let me know if that's something you're interested in or not. Because here's the problem. Anytime I branch off into something that's not fitness related or lifting, I run the risk of alienating my core demographics. And this channel is first and foremost always going to be about powerlifting and men's fitness over the age of 40, 50, that kind of thing. Old dudes lifting, yeah, buddy. That'll always be that. See, lighting makes a huge difference. You know, when I'm over there under the light, my arm's like way better. Whatever, I digress. But as you guys know, I do love most sci-fi and fantasy, specifically the world of Warhammer 40K, and it's stuff I'm interested in and I love talking about. And I paint the figurines. See, my little bird boys here I'm working on. I made it so they are kind of trying to make it so they're flying. I got like 8 of those I got to paint up still, and then I got a bunch of Terminators I got to work on. It's coming along nicely. Oh, I also have Gazcall. I got a big model of him I need to paint. That's going to be pretty sweet. Get the airbrush out for that. I got a Warlord Titan. It's an Etsy. It's a 3D printed one, but it's huge. And I kind of want to do a video where I show that. All right. So basically, I'm asking you guys, is this something that you're interested in? Do you like it when I do these videos? Because if so, I'll keep doing them. I think they're fun, especially when I get in the comments and I dig into like people making fun of me. Like that's what it's all about. So, in my 40K video, a couple of the comments I got, they called me an incel chud. I thought that was funny. But he said you immediately started out with the most sexualized models possible, like basically saying, you know, I'm like the problem, the demographic, because I like to see sexy little, that's a Sisters of Battle proxy that I got off of Etsy. And you could paint her, and if you look close, she's kind of not wearing a whole lot. And it's like that's the issue. It's like the sexualization of the women, and you know, they want to do away with that. Now, I was digging into the demographics. I kind of went off the, oh my god, I went down the rabbit hole. Like, I had no idea that these communities existed. I just wanted to start painting figurines again with my son, and we started getting back into it. And it was just like business as usual, playing with the older players, and I didn't really notice too much difference. But then as I started diving into the lore online, I noticed that, you know, there's a big DEI push, diversity, inclusivity, and equity, and a lot of it has to do with like funding. Warhammer is a large percentage of Games Workshop is owned or managed rather by BlackRock and Vanguard. Now these are, you know, two firms that basically handle all the world's money. They have their hands in almost every corporation. They don't really actually own anything, but they control the assets. And in order for these companies to get funding from them, like say you want to make a new product or a movie, and you need capital, you got to have money to do that. So you go to them and you say, hey, I want to borrow $1 gazillion. And they say, okay, here you go. But we're only going to give this to you if you, you know, let's take a look. Let's check under the hood and see what you got there. And they go through it and they go, well, this is problematic. Oh, this competent white men? No, gotta go. Gotta trans that up. We need some pronouns in here. We gotta get some girls in them boys' spaces. And then you make the arguments, you know, like, well, you know, we talked about this. We got the tons of representation. You know, you got the Sisters of Battle, you got the Sisters of Silence, you got the, you know, the Inquisitors, you got the no, that's not the problem. Yeah, I love that you're diverse. Beautiful, beautiful thing you got going on here. But the problem is you cannot have a group of competent, strong, white men. That's just not, that's problematic. It's got to go. And even the Space Marines have been reasonably diverse. And, I'll admit, it's a British company. So, of course, it started out with like all white guys. But even that's changed over the years. And, of course, anytime we argue, like, why can't you just leave our stuff alone? They say you're racist. I already made the argument in the last video. It's stupid. It's not that they made the change. It's why they made the change. And they made the change. It was, I'm online and I'm looking at all these people, like the guys that made the comments against me being an incel chud or whatever, like I'm one of them. So they're trying to other us. Looking at all the Reddit posts and all of the Twitter posts and all these people that claim that they won because they got their representation, they got their foot in the door, and now they can make sweeping changes across the board and they're going to get rid of all the people like me. They don't actually play the game. Like a really, really small percentage of them actually play the game. And they don't buy the products. And I don't understand how these companies don't understand this. All of my comic book stores here in town have practically closed down. They're out of business. And when I asked what happened, it's because nobody's buying Western comic books anymore. Same with the game stores. All the game stores have closed. Nobody wants, nobody wants to play this crap. It's not pleasant to look at. The stories are all about, ideology. You can't even get away from it. Everything's political. You cannot escape it. It's in all media. It's on, across the board in streaming services, Disney, Netflix. It's all woke idea. Look at every single show. Any new show that's come out, look at the demographics of the lead characters, and I will almost guarantee that there's a strong female character, there's a trans or gay couple, and it's featured. They got it like it's featured. They show them like making out on, they make sure And then if there is a strong white character, he's the dummy, like the backup, or he's evil for the sake of being evil, like mustache twirling villain. And that's it. That's it. And it is totally acceptable to be openly racist towards white people. And and then if we say something back, it's problematic. You shut up. You've had your turn. And it's just like, you don't play the game. You just want to ruin it. Like, why? Why can't we just leave our stuff alone? The actual topic I wanted to cover was I was going through this vomitorium, and I came across some new Black Library stuff where they have a Drukhari and an Orc freebooter, and they support trans. Orc is trans Orc. He's got pronouns, the whole 9 yards. And I got to thinking, I'm like, Orcs are asexual. They don't sexually reproduce. They're like a fungus. So like these spores, they start out as spores and they basically get underground, and then an orc grows like in an egg, like a chicken. And then it hatches as a fully grown, violent, I don't even know what you call it, big green dumb thing, and he figures out his world and he runs the closest group and grabs a weapon and he gets into it. That's how orcs reproduce. And that's why they're so hard to kill. That's why they're so hard to eradicate. The Imperium beats the orcs back, kills them all, but then the spores that are left over, because when an orc dies, it releases spores, and then right down the road, another infection crops up, and it just keeps going. It's perpetual war. And the orcs are a lot of fun. They are. They're just like these. They love to fight, and they love to get maimed and cut up, and they just don't. It's a good time for them. So, playing orcs is a good time. It's just, that they're fun. It's a fun faction. But I've never, in all the years that I've been playing 40K, have I seen anything to do with orcs and sexuality. Like, that they're asexual as far as I know. I don't even know if they have reproductive organs. And so by you making one trans, you're breaking the lore, because what concept of that would they have? You know what I mean? Like, that's not part of their biology. Like, you know, like, I just don't understand. Like, they're just trying to insert themselves into everything. And when I say, like, the retcons break the lore, that's what I'm talking about. Because the other argument was, well, you know, Games Workshop retcon stuff all the time. They do. But it's supposed to make sense. Like, they just brought back the squats. You know, they call them Leagues of Votan. And they're really cool. So they had to make some major retcons to bring them back. And, you know, they're like the Primaris Marines. Yeah, there's a ton of retcons. But they're supposed to make sense. You're supposed to write them in a way that it doesn't break the existing universe. And the stuff they're doing now with all this DEI crap, it just totally botches everything. Like, all these years, the way we've heard that Space Marines and Custodes are created genetically, these enhanced super soldiers, like, it doesn't even make sense to put a woman through that, because after it's done, what would that even look like? Would it even look like a woman? So, you know, stuff like that. It's just like, we ask these questions, and, you know, I don't think they think about any of that. All they see is those little models, and they see that there's no women representation. We gotta get a chick in there and make it gay. And it doesn't make sense. Trans orcs do not make sense. It's like then they just keep going and going and going, and they celebrate because they're getting rid of us. Remember I said all the comic book stores are closed because nobody's consuming Western media anymore, or comic books? It's insufferable. They've made all of our, you know, like, across the board, DC, Marvel, everybody's bisexual now. And they're really focusing on it. It's not enough that your character has sexual preferences. They have to make the story revolve around that. And we just don't care. We don't want to read it. It's nothing against it. Like, everyone's like, oh, you're phobic. Phobic is fear. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm over it. I'm sick of seeing it everywhere. Every show, every single show on Netflix. I pointed this out to my wife, all the new ones. Everything on Disney Plus. It's just across the board. They did it to Star Wars, and now it's Games Workshop. They're bringing it down. Halo. I mean, can you think of a franchise that they haven't ruined yet? Lord of the Rings. Lord have mercy. Oh, Doctor Who. Holy crap. Jeez. And now, as a result, your main base customers are not consuming it anymore. And you're wondering why you're hemorrhaging money. Marvel's broke. Disney's broke. They don't have any money for this stuff because nobody's watching it. You know, they got a small group that goes to see these movies, and they are hemorrhaging money. And they think that, like, we're missing the point of the movies. It's our fault. Why am I obligated to watch crap I don't want to watch? I mean, it's not interesting to me. I don't want to watch it. And just like me, millions of other people, we don't want to participate in this nonsense. So you drive us away, you get your victory, now you have the franchise, and what are you left with? You're left with people that they don't even consume or care, because once they've gotten their victory, they're going to move on to the next thing, and you're going to be left with nothing. And tell me I'm wrong. Across the board, that's what we've seen. We've seen these billion, trillion-dollar companies tank because they keep doubling down on this nonsense and nobody's consuming it. And they're losing money. Right? Am I wrong? Who's making money with this stuff? Name one company that's prospering because of this woke nonsense. I don't know, man. So, congratulations. You got your foot in the door. You're going to destroy another IP that's beloved by millions. You have a huge customer base that spends thousands of dollars and is super into it. And you're going to slowly but surely, it will take time, drive everybody away. We're all going to start 3D printing. We're all going to move on to other games. And because once we've lost interest completely, nobody wants to consume any of the new lore that you're going to put out. Who's going to want to buy it? No one wants to read that crap. As soon as I saw that in the description, I'm like, I ain't buying that. I'm not interested in it. It just doesn't interest me. This is not my escapism. This is not the hobby. You've changed the hobby, and now I'm no longer interested. That sucks. I got a bunch of models to paint, and I'm still going to paint what I have. I enjoy doing that. But I'm not going to buy any new stuff. I'm not going to support them in any way. Why would I? Why would I give a company my money that hates me? They don't want me. So I'll go elsewhere. And I'm sure eventually they'll get their hooks into that too. Cultural Marxism. They're going across the country. They're infecting everything. And they're tearing it down. It'll be interesting to see, once they have it torn down, what it gets rebuilt back into. But I think there's one thing they forget. So, everything's based off of, like, sexuality, trans, gay, whatever, fill in the blank. That doesn't propagate the species. Like, you can say what you want about straight white men or straight men in general, but part of that function is propagating the species, making sure that we continue as a race, because the creates babies. Yours does not. So eventually, I don't understand. Like, you're trying to drive us away, but like, you kind of need us. Like, to keep going? Have you really thought this through? Are you thinking down the road any? Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's all doomed to fail. If you look at all examples throughout history, this is late stage, basically collapse of an empire type stuff that's going on. You got this generation that's got it too good, and they don't have to work, or everything's been provided for them, so they're all entitled. But unfortunately, they got that at the edge of a collapse. And now that all that stuff can't be provided for them, and they're disillusioned and they're angry, and rightfully so, they're kind of set up. But it's like, you got to fend for yourself, man. I don't know. It's all coming down around us. I see it every day, everywhere I go, and it's really unfortunate, man. It really is. I love this hobby, and I want to talk about it. There's a lot of cool stuff, but this is, I don't know. Will you guys let me know if you like this video? If you like this stuff, if you like me talking about it, essentially. And I will. I'll keep, I have a lot to say about it. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, I will shut up and just keep lifting. I love you guys. I'll see you on the battlefield.